Hey guys, so I was gonna do a video about this as a short, for the views, but I decided because this is talking about prevention of injury, and this is probably one of the most common things I see wrong that beginners do in shot put and discus. I decided to make a long form video about this because it's really important and I can't really say what I want to say in a 60-second short. So, hope you guys like this. So, today we are going to talk about not throwing with your elbow, but throwing with all of that. All your shoulder, your chest. Alright? So, let me first get rid of some misconceptions. So, you see beginners and, they watch someone like Joe Kovacs has a crazy, like, big arm and stuff. Like one of the most common misconceptions, like just throwing stuff, is you just throw with your arm. But you throw with your legs. Anybody who knows anything will tell you that. Even in other sports like baseball and football, the prime driver is that leg or that hip. Alright? So, and that's especially apparent in shot put and discus and javelin and not really hammer. But oh yeah, hammer, I guess. But I'm only going to be speaking for shot put and discus. So, what do I mean by don't throw with your elbow? So one, let's first go over how you can tell if you're throwing with your elbow. One, if your elbow hurts, because it shouldn't really hurt unless you just drop your elbow. Like if you're throwing shot and you go like that and you throw like a basketball, then it's probably gonna hurt if you're actually trying to throw it hard. All right, but for the most part, if your release mechanics are right, but your elbow's hurting, chances are you're just throwing like that. So you're just here and you're just going like that. All right, or from the side, you're here and Another way you can tell is if the elbow is in front of the shot put. So if you're like this, all right, and when you do this, you can't really use your chest or shoulder, because your elbow is just severely under tension, so you're just there. All right. So those are two very common ways. The first thing you'll feel is just you hurt. It just hurts. All right. Or it feels very uncomfortable to hold a shot put. Like you feels very weak and like it just doesn't feel comfortable. So those are some common ways you can tell right away if you're throwing with your elbow and shot put. In discus, it could be a couple ways that you can tell if you're if you're throwing with your elbow, is if you don't feel stretching your chest at all. All right, so you need to feel stretch right here in this little pec. All right, that lets you know you have a good stretch and you're throwing with your pec and your shoulder. Another way you can tell is also if your elbow hurts. Also, another way you can tell is if you look at film and you're going like that. So you're going like, and you're short striking a discus. What I mean by short striking is, so you're here, this is how you would normally throw a disc, so you're under tension. You see how it's hard for me to talk right now? I'm under tension. This is stretched out. My disc is behind my hip, and I sling it out. A short strike would look like this. Like that. Which I see a lot in beginners. Is they just kind of go like, and try and throw like a frisbee. Alright? That's not good. So you can tell right away is if you feel most of the power in your bicep and your elbow. Alright? So those are some common ways. You're going to feel it a lot more in shot put. This is a little more prevalent in shot put than in discus, though it does happen in discus. So those are some common ways you can tell if you're throwing with your elbow. Now, let's get to why it's not good to throw with your elbow. One, it hurts. Two, you're not going to produce that much power at all. Because when you think about it, what's stronger? Your elbow and the bicep and tricep? Or your whole pec, your whole shoulder apparatus, your delt, your tricep, and your bicep? Which incorporates more muscle groups? And if you answer the number one, the one I said first with just your bicep and tricep, you're wrong. Sorry, because you can't count. All right? It's more muscles recruited equals further throws. All right. So that's why basically it's more important. It's because one, you're going to throw further because you're just incorporating more muscles into it. Two, you're going to get a stretch reflex because, now you're incorporating muscles that can actually stretch a lot more. Three, it's going to prevent a lot more injuries and be a lot more stable for your elbow because now your elbow is not taking all the force. Now your whole right side of your upper body is on the release. So it's gonna take a lot of pressure away from your elbow. All right? And it's gonna hurt a lot less and you're gonna feel a really good snap. All right? And same thing here. The same things apply in discus as well. Instead of going like that, this is a lot stronger right here, throwing with all of this. All right? So that's why it's important. All right? So, what you can do to drill this or to figure out if you throw with your elbow, if you're just looking at video, is one, the placement on your neck. So let me first just talk about shot put because it's a lot easier to talk about because you can feel it right away. One, if you look at yourself in the mirror just holding a shot put, if your elbow is in front of your hand, all right, that's not good. If your elbow's too low relatively to your hand, so like if my shot is back behind my neck and I'm like this, that's not good. All right. Two, like if my shot's down here and my elbow's up here, that's not good. You're gonna be too elbow dominant. All right. Three is if you don't feel like the chest is stretched. And yes, you do want to feel a little stretch in your chest and shot put. All right, that's why I like to call it loaded. All right, and you'll feel that one because the shot put is behind your neck. Behind your hand. Sorry, the shot put is in front of your elbow. Is what I meant to say. Sorry, I'm tired. So that's what you want to feel. All right, because when you think about it, if you throw a punch, what's more powerful? That, like that, or that. All right? So you want your elbow behind your fist because that's power. This, you're just doing a tricep extension. All right? So, you want to feel powerful. It's when people say punch the shot put, they literally mean punch a shot put. Go punch. Punch. All right? If you throw a punch like this, first of all, never get into a fight. And two, learn how to punch. All right? Okay? So those are some common ways if you're on video to figure out how to hold a shot put and incorporate your chest and your shoulder. All right? And to figure out if you're doing it wrong. Now, in discus, it's a little harder to see. All right? Because there's not really too many variations because you have to have the arm out. So a lot of beginners will be like, oh, coach, my arm is out, so I'm clearly using my chest and my pec. A very common thing to figure out is if you're releasing a discus, one, again, you don't feel stretch, and two, if your elbow bends. All right? So you're here and you go like that. All right? That means that you don't have a stretch. All right? And that means, all right, that you're going to go here and then go like that. When you see a proper discus release, I think you guys can see this. You're here, and the elbow always stays locked here. It doesn't just go in like that. So you don't go like, you go and reach all the way out. All right? So that's something you can work on and drill on. Probably not at home because I hope you're not throwing discs at your house. Or unless you're very rich or something and you have like a big field that you can just do that at. Lucky you. But yeah. So do that at practice. I call that like discus picking, where you can just grab a discus, just go here, and just all arm, and just really feel yourself throwing with your chest and your shoulder. All right. You could do the same thing in shot put. Like I don't have a shot put right now, but you can have it. And this is a good hand warm up, which I made a video about. And you can have the shot put not on your neck, just a little bit close to it. Really feel yourself stretching back and really just focusing on a release mechanic. Another term for that is like a shot put flick. All right, and you can just really feel it, and you can tell right away if you just go like that or if you're actually pushing through the shot. All right, so that's a great way to practice not throwing with your elbow. All right, now some ways to think about not throwing with your elbow. So some theory. One is like bench press. So in bench press, you don't just have a bench press and you don't just go like that. All right, you go here. You find that deep stretch right here. Does this look familiar? Here. All right. So like dumbbell bench presses. Just think about your dumbbell bench pressing a shot put. So you have it here. Boom. All right. Another way you can think about this is also the punch. So if you have like a martial arts background or a boxing background, think about throwing a punch. You don't punch like that. All right. Also, I know that this isn't really important, but also if you have elbow pain, and again, I'm not a doctor or have any like credentials about this, but speaking from personal experience and other shot putters that I've known, another reason you could have elbow pain, as a shot putter at least, is you have very weak triceps. So you'll notice when you see like elite level shot putters, people that are really good at shot put, yes, they have big arms, their triceps are absolutely massive. All right, and there's a very good reason. It's one because, and I'll give you a little biomechanics lesson, I guess, or kinesiology lesson. Your bicep contracts, your tricep elongates. All right. So people have a common misconception about, oh, I just need big biceps and stuff and like a big bench. Yeah, you need a big bench, but what people don't realize is that the concentric part of a bench, your tricep, is taking a lot more load than the bicep. Because look at when I go here, this is extending, the bicep goes in. The bicep helps the arm go in, the tricep helps the arm extend. All right, so just like here, what's making me go out? My tricep. At the very end is my tricep. All right, so if you have very bad elbow pain, it could just be because you just have weak triceps compared to your biceps. So one, you need to bench more. I don't know, it's a cliche like bro science thing, but really like bench. All right. Two, do more push-ups. Three, do a lot more tricep stuff. Like focus on the triceps. So like you can grab like a cable or a band, just do tricep extensions. You can do like French press, stuff like that. All right, so that can help you. And again, I'm not a doctor. All right, I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not whatever. All right, but this is just based on my years of experience. All right, I've been throwing for 14 years, and I've met a lot of people with elbow injuries. I've had elbow issues. All right, the one of the major problems I see is that people just don't work on their triceps. All right, because everyone's big biceps, to just look big, but to throw far, get bigger triceps. And you're gonna get bigger biceps just because you're just lifting. And I'm not saying like only focus on triceps, but if you have a weak bicep to tricep ratio biased towards the biceps, try and even out your tricep and your biceps a little. All right, so that might help you a lot with elbow pain. All right, because the tricep is going to support this elbow. All right, that's the main muscle here. And I'm sorry for my farmer's tannin, me flexing my weak arms, but I have a little bump. You see the bump right here, and it goes straight into my elbow. All right, and that's the primary force. All right, that's the primary driver of elbow extension. Okay, so I hope that helps. Again, I guess I could talk about discus. Tricep matters, but this is a lot more common of a problem throwing with your elbow in shot put than in discus. Discus, if you have problems throwing with your elbow, one, just keep your arm long. Two, keep the arm away from you, or the discus away from you. And then three, keep it behind your hip. Whether you're right or left-handed, keep it behind your hip. Feel a constant stretch all the way through. For the most part, there are some like different series of thoughts, but for the most part, you got to keep it at least somewhat behind you. All right, you got to keep a little stretch. And if you can't do that, or if you can't hold a shot put comfortably with your elbow behind the hand, work on some shoulder mobility. I know, especially if you're shot put, people are like, oh, you could just be like a super big bodybuilder with no neck and throw shot put. No. All right, surprisingly, when you look at elite level shot putters, they are super mobile. And especially in discus, they are super mobile. But contrary to popular belief, you do need to be mobile in your shoulders to be athletic. Because mobility allows you, one, to use your muscles more efficiently. And two, if you do have super tight traps and a super tight shoulder and chest, that can also lead to super tight bicep and tricep, which in turn can lead to elbow pain. All right, so that could also be causing your elbow pain because one, you're just too tight in this area to even hold a shot put correctly here very comfortably, and that can lead to pain. All right, so if you just fix your mobility problems, it might help you with your elbow pain. All right. So that can help. Also, what also may help is forearm strength. You get that like you should be working your forearms, especially if you're a shot putter. Discus doesn't really matter, but because your forearms just take so much direct pressure in shot put, doing like wrist curls, the hand extensions. I have a whole video about doing like hand care and forearm care and wrist care for shot put on my channel. So yeah, but overall, I hope this video helps. I hope people stop throwing with their elbow. It's not your fault, most beginners and even some advanced people still throw with their elbow. They're just genetic freaks in nature that can just get away with throwing far with their elbow. Not too many of them can do that, but yeah. So, and this mainly applies to beginners. People just learning how to throw shot put. I see a lot of people just throw like that. That's not right. You can't throw a 16-pound shot like a basketball and throw it far. All right, and you can't throw it like that and throw it far. All right, you can do everything beautifully, but if you go like that, it's just gonna go like 3 feet. All right. So, and we want that thing to go 70 feet, hopefully, in ideal world. But yeah, and same thing for discus. You don't bicep curl a discus. You pec fly. You pec fly a discus. Here. Boom. Alright. So, hope this helps. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I hope this helps with your elbow pain. If it doesn't, seek medical care. Because, if you have a hurt elbow, you basically can't throw anything. Or lift, really, upper body. So, seek medical help. If your elbow has, like, an actual injury and not just sore, if it's, like, actually, like, a shooting pain or, like, you have range of motion or there's swelling or something, seek medical help, all right, immediately. Or as fast as possible, all right? Because all these tips probably aren't going to help you that much, all right? Because you could have a tendon problem, a ligament problem, a bone problem, just stuff like that. That no matter how much you work out, you need to get that stuff taken care of. All right? And also, And speaking from a coach's standpoint, if you do have elbow issues, let your coach know. Don't just keep silent and push through. All right, and don't just give up. Just let your coach know. Hey, my elbow hurts, because it could be a technical issue, or it could be because you've been throwing wrong for so long. You just have chronic elbow pain, and you can get that sorted. All right. So, just speaking at a coach's standpoint, I've had some athletes just not tell me they're in pain. Either I can tell because every time they throw, they like wince or like grip their elbow in pain. I'm like, oh, are you okay? Like, no, I'm fine. You know, just a little tight. It's like, okay, well that's been going on for a month, so you're probably hurt. All right. So please, if your elbow hurts throwing, just tell your coach, please. All right. So hopefully you'll have a good coach that'll actually care about that and take the necessary steps. But, you know, hopefully. But, yeah, other than that, hope this helps. Hope you stop throwing with your elbow. Hope you are in less pain. Hope you start throwing further doing this. And, yep, see y'all later.